This project, we're going to be working on a version of the Nutcracker story for this next project, and I hope to use a kind of Jim Henson approach with some puppets. I have to find some puppeteers. Our participants, by and large, will be people with disabilities, but we'll have a mixed abilities format. So it's open to everybody, age, and et cetera, et cetera. Even though the theme is on a fairy tale or one of the fairy tales, popular one, I hope it's kind of a little insightful in terms of some self-discovery, mainly based in the process for the participants in terms of creativity and what have you. But if that's where it's at, that's actually very good too. There's always a story, and then there's multiple stories within the story. And so, which is always the case, and for me, it's always the observation part, seeing people grow, people partake, and hopefully for me, it's a little bit more insight into that, on obviously on what I'm enjoying from it too, but also where do I go from there, because the craft part is always part of it too, whether you're building sets, design, working choreography, working with people, even with disabilities. When I first had to deal with people with disabilities,
it's a challenge.
Yeah, it was like, even touching was very, very difficult. And I'm going back now to like 97, 96 when I started out in the recreation field and department, and we had special programs for people with disabilities, and I had a lot of fear about it, and it was something I wasn't familiar with. But then over time, and we had programs for them to be involved in dances and social meetings and groups, a lot of sweet, lovable individuals, okay? And same aspirations as you and I. They wanted to be loved. They want to find someone to love. They wanted to be accepted. They wanted to be normal, okay? And to me, that was an eye-opener. And right there and then I knew that was, as far as service in a career or field, that was one aspect I wanted to incorporate. We can judge societies by how they treat their weakest members, whether it's old people, people with disabilities, people with disadvantages, whether it's in the criminal justice system, and minorities, and strangers. The biblical term about the how to treat strangers. So it's an age-old problem with many societies, and I think that's that. So when you say the key is how do we treat people that we see as different. That's what it boils down to. Okay, whether it's people with disabilities or people that are past their supposedly productive years. That's how we deal with people with aging. We see them, and there's a lot of prejudice with people that is overweight. Believe me, it's kicking in me all the time. When sometimes if I do a visual scan, sometimes in shopping or what have you, I know my prejudices pop out if I see someone that's like tremendously overweight or something like that, or whatever. So. And I don't like that about myself, but those are the things in the human brain. It's basically not just inputted information that you're storing, but it was influenced by a lot of socialization from your peers, from your parents, and all that kind of stuff. And boy, is it hard to get out of your brain. That's when we had to talk about freedom and liberation. it's really to liberate ourselves from all those thoughts and inputs that are stored in our brain.
Programming.
Yeah, the programming.